What's going on, man? Welcome. I don't know if it's getting a little too loud or not, but y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. Just experimenting right now with some things. But, so lately, what I've been working on is I really just been working on just trying to staying ahead on my projects and stuff because it's just better for your mental health when you give yourself that cushion. It's good. It's good to get ahead on things. Let's see. There we go. But yeah, so like I was saying, it's good to stay ahead on things. When you build a system of being ahead, staying on track, it gives you that cushion. It just makes things a lot easier to handle. I feel like a lot of times when we let life get away from us, when you let life get away from you, you're always gonna feel like you're in a rush. You're always gonna be trying to get through things quick, and then you forget what it's like to be still. You're just sitting with anxiety. You know what I'm saying? You're always anxious, never chilling, because you never gave yourself a chance to relax. I don't know. I just look at it differently. The matcha could be better, but you don't stress on that one. So let's see what we got going on here. So right now I'm just working on some projects, just getting ahead. I got a video coming out on how to be consistent. But this is something I've been dealing with, man, for the last for the last 2-3 months, man. It's just really staying consistent. I have a tough time with doing that. I'll be honest, I'm human. But the biggest thing is I always like to get people to be mindful of is to know how to hold yourself accountable. You feel me? Let's see. iPhone's being weird. So yeah, so right now I'm editing that long form video. So I don't like that font. That font look crispy. Well, if it's crispy, wouldn't that mean I think it would look good? I try to keep stuff simple though, man. I forgot I gotta use mouse on this one. There we go. I just like content creation, man. I've been doing it for so long. I just have a genuine interest for it. Once you find something you're passionate about. Okay, that's not bad. One thing I like doing, as you can tell right now, I'm in a coffee shop, and I like the reason why I like going to a coffee shop because it gets me out of my environment. I know when you understand the importance of your time, like time management, you learn to appreciate and value how you spend it. You're going to be more mindful. You're going to be more disciplined about it. So I know when I'm here in a coffee shop setting or outside of my space, it mentally puts me into that mindset of like, okay, I'm here to work. And then you gotta have that balance. Appreciate the little things, people being around. It's beautiful. It's like 91 degrees. It's a gorgeous day. These are the little things. But outside of the little things comes with the work. It's a discipline. It's another nice way to be disciplined without actually making it be about working out 24/7 and going hard 24/7. Balance. Having a balance is a form of discipline. So, and it's good to change up your environment. Like I said, there's no wrong with being more conscious of how you spend your time. That's huge. Excuse me. So, in this video, I'm talking about the importance of your why. Now, when it comes to understanding what your why is, man, like life is going to put you in a situation where you're going to have to figure things out on your own. I have my fair share of moments where nobody didn't pick up the phone for me. So because nobody didn't pick up the phone, I was stuck dealing with the situation by myself. And despite that person I called, I said it in one of the videos, I was about to have a mental breakdown or whatever. But despite the fact that bro didn't pick up the phone, what I'm saying? The truth is that was the first time in my life where I experienced where I had to get myself out of a rut, and I feel like it's such a huge thing that I feel like a lot of people miss because we grow up, you come into this world with this deep assumption that like everybody's here for you, but all it is just a shared collective space. Like right now, me in this coffee shop, there's like maybe about 10 different people in here, and it's a shared collective space. But that don't mean you're here for you either. And that's where your self-talk comes in. That's where it's important to build that relationship with yourself. You got to be your own biggest fan. When life get difficult, you get stuck in a rut, man. Only you got to pull you out of it. I love my coffee though. I'm hearing a little bit of Kid Cudi in the background for a moment there. I like Kid Cudi, man. Kid Cudi, you're one of the best. Let me see here. My boss is texting me. I just zoned out for a second. I smooth just zoned out for a second. I was in the middle of the. Oh yeah, I was looking at this video. Let me know, man, if y'all can't hear me either, man. I know earlier in the beginning of the video, I was talking about why consistency matters more than just being disciplined. I feel like they both kind of work hand in hand because, like, you got to have discipline to stay consistent. Being consistent is one thing, but being disciplined on top of it, because you got to be disciplined enough to make that decision. You got to be disciplined enough to show up when you don't feel like it. You got to be disciplined to know that something is better than nothing. That it's mindset. I think I know what I gotta do right here. But let's see here. So we're gonna add that right there. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what I want to call this chapter. I'll just say story time. But yeah, man, you gotta understand that, like, when it comes to being disciplined, right? Whenever you want to make a change in your life, like, you have to have the discipline to consistently reframe your mindset. And I think that's where a lot of people get things mixed up at, is where you just don't wake up and then all of a sudden say you're going to be positive. Like that's not how that works. You got to be intentional about it. You got to get your journal. You got to write out your goals. You got to make it a genuine effort to. You got to make a genuine effort to be intentional. If you don't make that effort to be intentional, being consistent, staying disciplined, all that stuff goes out the window. And the same thing goes for negotiating with yourself. I think that's one of the sneakiest ways we can commit self-sabotage is when we negotiate ourselves when we're falling short. You're supposed to hit the gym today, but you're like, you know what? I've been going hard for the last 2 days. I feel like taking some time off. When you made a commitment that you're going to go to the gym 4 days out of the week. Now there's a balance here. It depends on how deep you're into it. So, oops, sorry. But so there's a balance here. It depends on how deep you're into it. Okay. If you've been going hard for 2 or 3 months, you're consistent, you're doing what you need to do. Those are some okay situations where you might be a little bit more flexible to take one day off, right? But when you're first starting out, like let's say you in 2-3 weeks into it, you don't need to be flexible with yourself. Sometimes too much flexibility is one of the easiest paths for chaos. You got to have some structure. You got to be able to be rigid with yourself. And that's where that self accountability comes in. You got to know when you're doing too much. You got to know when you're doing less. It's all a balance. Discipline and consistency work hand in hand. Listen to that oldie fire. What's the name of the song? Oh, that's all good. Hold on. That backfired. Ooh, it's an oldie but goodie. My ear is like mad itching right now. And I don't have nothing to itch it, bro. Mad sweater right now. Let me see here. I hope everybody. Uh, why your problems feel so big? You mentioned why your problems feel so big. Well, lot of times when problems seem bigger than what they really are, is because we're so busy looking at the surface. You got to be able to you got to peel layers back, right? So when you get in a situation where something's crazy, whatever it may be, maybe you're trying to understand it, you got to peel the layers back. Everything has layers to it. There's levels to it, right? So when you're looking at an issue, you have to make sure you have to think of worst case scenario and best case scenario. Once you see the worst case scenario, once you take a minute to think that through, you realize that, oh, I'm actually pretty far from the worst case scenario. That doesn't mean it won't happen. But that right there should give you comfort and confidence that, okay, I can get out of this situation. If there's one thing I could do, what would that next thing be? You know what I mean? Like, you got to have a solution thinking mindset about this kind of stuff. Because when you don't think about, when you're focusing on the issue instead of the solution, simply put, you're taking away your focus. You're investing your time and energy into something that's not going to give you no return. You're focusing on the issue itself instead of focusing on finding a solution for it. That's what a problem is. Tracking your progress. Gotta track your progress, man. Tracking your progress literally gives you evidence of like your success, the progress that you're making. You know, that's like a chillin sheet code. I ain't heard this song. I just heard it at a coffee shop one day and just thought it was cool.
And then that's eligibility. So all of these benefits are based off of you working in every. So it doesn't have to be 20 hours every week, but they will audit every week. And there's the 6 months that they're auditing.
This is one of those moments where I feel like I may have went on a ramble. This is one of those moments where I think I may have went on a ramble on accident. But although, because okay, yeah, I did go on a ramble. I had to catch it. So what do I start from here?
No more until the next audit.
So we're gonna title that one. You can't fix what you're not paying attention to. So I just call this acknowledge it. I don't know if that's a good title or not. If I also knew how to spell acknowledge it. Yeah, I mean, you can't fix what you don't acknowledge. And that's just simply like when I saw that. I learned something new on my phone just now. I don't know how I pulled that off, but yeah, man, you can't fix what you don't acknowledge. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not happy about your weight, if you're not happy about your bank account, Nothing about your bank account, your relationship, your weight, whatever it is. If you're not happy about it, you have to be able to own that and take accountability for it. Okay, so now that I'm aware of this thing, I know that I have whatever it takes to change it. I know I have whatever it takes to make a difference. And it takes time getting to that point. That's where you build self love. That's where you trust yourself, self awareness. You know what I mean? Like, I always like to tell people your biggest relationship is the one that you have with yourself. You know, you got to be your own biggest fan. So that's actually how I would. That's kind of how I look at it a lot of times. Like, like I was saying earlier, man, you're just gonna be put in situations where you're gonna have to take care of yourself. Like my uncle said the realest thing about 4 or 5 years ago. He said, "You versus you." And for some reason, that phrase stuck with me because as I've gotten older, I started realizing that a lot of the times, man, it's really you versus you. You know, you're the person you got to deal with first thing in the morning. You know, you're either going to call the shots and you're going to let your ego run everything. You're either going to lock in or you're going to sit back and be comfortable. Like, and that's what I was saying, where sometimes you got to have that grit. You got to go through the phases where motivation isn't there, but the discipline is. Once you learn to master being disciplined over relying on motivation, bro, it just puts you in a whole different realm.
We also have knowledge directly to like servicing excellence. So like the rules for how we work on ops excellence and the other thing that is really important in here these can be these are all like outward things. So if someone comes in and they're like,
Digitally. All right. A little too far ahead there. You already jumped ahead of me. All right, gang. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the live right there because they weren't playing music. Now they're playing music, and I'm not gonna get copyright. So yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.